running for a variety of reasons. One, to set a good example for my boys. I've got 2 young boys, and I want to do right by them. I want to do right by Alaska. There's that saying, put up or shut up, and that's part of it. But really, I think we've also put up with too much for too long, and here I am. I'm able to throw my hat in the ring, and that's what I'm doing. We've been victims of crime in our own driveway. We've seen cuts to our educational system. We're tired of the same conversations year after year in the legislature. Those are the things that's motivated me. Sure, I do. Within reason, I think we need to be smart about it, develop some structure that we can all get behind, but we do generate significant interest from that, and if we don't want to be dependent on other industries to fund essential services, then I think that's a good option for us. At this point, I'm open. I want to explore everything that might be put on the table. I'm new to politics. I'm a professional, not a professional politician. I'm open to a variety of different tax options. First, I would like to make sure we're getting our fair share for oil. I'd like to make sure that we are giving the highest PFD that we can afford. I think those are first and foremost, and then have that conversation. Sure. If I was pushed on one versus the other, I'm most interested in the state income tax option at this point. But again, there's going to have to be some long, hard conversations around how we would structure that. Sure. Well, I want to offer 2 little stories that I think illustrates where we are and where we've come from. So back in 2013, we had 2 individuals high on drugs crash their car into trees right outside my then newborn son's nursery. And then flash forward to just January 2018, we had our van stolen right out of our driveway. My husband was assaulted. So I think we had crime problems well before SB 91. Across the board, different types of crime, they were on the rise. And we continue to have crime problems as we see every day. For me, some of the things that I would like to see change, I think we need to make sure we're filling empty personnel positions in law enforcement and making sure we have enough prosecutors and defenders to bring criminals to justice. I would like to see us fill some loopholes that we've seen most recently in some of our sexual assault laws and some of our kidnapping laws, for example. I'm also a big fan of, and if you talk with law enforcement, they'll tell you as well, we are in the middle of a drug crisis. And with my background in public health, I recognize the importance of intervention and rehabilitation. So making sure we provide those services, and when you commit a crime and that is, you're struggling with an addiction, that you are also compelled to address that. Well, I mean, going back to treatment as one example of many, I think we have to look across the spectrum, right? So on one far end, we need to know where drugs are coming into our communities, how they're being distributed through our communities. I don't think we have a solid idea on some of that. I would like us to spend more to focus on that. With treatment and intervention, if you look at the number of beds, for example, in Juneau or in Fairbanks, it's less than what we have here in Anchorage, and we have a much higher population. So prioritizing that. I am a big fan of looking upstream at what's causing our issues rather than just being purely reactive. I'm hearing a lot of the same concerns, same things that made me want to run. So we already hit on crime. I hear a lot about education, and we've already hit on budget. Those are the top 3 I'm hearing. Sure. I mean, I think any successful nonprofit, any successful business has a solid, sustainable fiscal plan. We don't have that in place right now. Some of the solutions that we talked about a minute ago in the beginning of this interview, I think need to be part of that plan. I think it's really neat that we are taking that to the voters. It is a big issue, and I'm hearing arguments on both sides that are compelling. So I think that's great, and I think it's also great that after 2 years the legislature can address any possible shortcomings if it were to pass. If you're asking me how I am going to vote on it, I am a yes. Sure. Again, this whole spectrum idea, everything from on the kids' side, the size of the classroom, making sure students have access to all the resources they need regardless of how they learn, all the way to the other end with our teachers. Are we creating an educational environment, a work environment that's attractive to teachers who want to come and stay? We need to work on that.